Yes, people, welcome to another Chelsea video. Man, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Chelsea news. No throws today. He's on holiday, he's got a new job, but I've got a perfect replacement. Co-host today, manhandled. What's going on, man?
Not as quite as good as introduction as you've given me before, but I'll take it. Nice to show my face for once, even though I'm tired and obviously hot in this surprisingly good weather in the UK. But yeah, good to be on, and obviously some interesting topics to discuss, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to talk about transfers, but also the most important one tonight. New sponsorships, which we'll be getting into. Chelsea are in talks with Stake, Everton's current shirt sponsor. We also had another sponsorship offering only 20 million a year. Manhandled. Let's ask your opinion first of all. What's your take on it?
First of all, we're not allowed to have any betting shirts or betting sponsor on the front of shirts until 25, 26, I think Premier League have said. So what's the
26.
first thing these American owners do? You know, they have 1 year to get a new sponsor after the problems with three, the sponsorship ending, and obviously, you know, the issues that we had during the Roman era. And they've gone to the sponsor of Everton. It clearly shows that money talks. Not only have we had several things put out by Chelsea about anti-gambling, about having chats in the community, not only have we obviously got a Muslim contingency in the fan base and as the players, but we're going to allow a betting company to be the face of our shirt, not only ruining the look of the shirt, but just morally impacting something which I'm not happy with and I'm not comfortable with. It just shows the fall of grace that Chelsea have had in the last year under this ownership. Everton 2.0, it's embarrassing. We shouldn't, as a main leading club in the UK, the biggest club in London we claim to be. It's a fall from grace, and it's very disappointing that Chelsea are going to go down this route. It just screams of desperation, and it's one of many times that the ownership have just shown their lack of knowledge and understanding of our game and of the fan base. Because I would imagine most people would back a different sponsor being had, and not one that promotes a business that kills people every single year.
Well, there we have it, folks. It's a very big statements, of course. I want to add on. Obviously, being a Muslim is part of why I'm against it. And also, Chelsea have been doing good work. Chelsea Foundation talking about reducing this and not affecting the youngsters, of course, and the next generation. And I get it that we've got no Champions League, but we can't be this desperate. Surely we've had 1 year to try and find someone. We haven't. Um, I'm sure. Luckily, right now we're just in talks. I haven't seen anything, breaking through, or we're definitely going to be getting these guys. Obviously, this is the first time that we've heard something. So I'm not gonna fully go at Chelsea at the moment. But if I obviously see it going through, it's a different story. But in general, I won't be buying anything Chelsea related, especially if this was to go ahead. And also, the brand does not represent anything like that, of course. I just want to remind everyone of that. But tomorrow, the barbecue show, they will be talking about it in depth properly. Some are actually for it and some are against it. So we'll see why. But enough of this topic. We'll go on to the next one. Caicedo, of course, which we'll get into. Apparently, we have no intention very quickly to enter the Declan Rice race. I mean, I don't know why we would even have any interest in general. I haven't seen one outlet or news on this player this season, in my opinion. I think it's always been Arsenal or Bayern or United and Liverpool. But Caicedo manhandled. We're looking between 80 to £100 million for the player. What do you make of that?
I've seen some jokes on Twitter of them trying to make up the money that they haven't got from McAllister because of his low release clause. It's a lot of money. And my only conscious part of this is that he's obviously had one season in the Premier League, clearly a very good player. Whenever I watched Brighton, he was one of those players, along with McAllister, that stood out. Ferguson, their centre forward as well, being another. You had Mitoma that looked really good, Gross at times, March, who was really good, but Caicedo was kind of a mainstay in the midfield. So, yeah, he's certainly a very good player and one that I want us to buy, but to spend 100 odd on Enzo, maybe as high as 80, 90, 100 million on Caicedo is very expensive and maybe a little bit risky. As I say, I think he will come good. He's a very good player, but for one season in the Premier League to suddenly attract this much, it's again, another sign of potentially Chelsea not being able to do good business. But again, this is muted figures. It's not that we're going to pay it. I think 60, 70 million may do the deal. Brighton know that the guy wants to leave. I mean, he nearly left in January. So it's a player that we need, a player that I'd like. But again, as much as I'm not normally someone who cares too much about money, given that we've not really got much to play with because of FFP and, the players that we need to get rid of, it's a lot of money to spend on one player.
I'm a bit surprised with your comments. Before the stream started, you was telling me you're all for this player. He's worth every penny and everything. And now you're telling me this on a stream or on a video.
Clarify that was never said, you fraud.
There you have it, folks. We definitely need a midfielder. Kante obviously has left or is leaving. Jorginho has left. Kovacic, personal terms agreed with Man City. It's time for a new era. And unfortunately, we have to spend a lot of money. Clubs know that we need to sell. And I don't know why Brighton are trying to lowball us with, small bids on Corwell, for example. Well, it also says here that we're looking to prepare offering other players like Gallagher. And Gallagher's been linked with Tottenham. Mason Mount to United, only 40 million was the first bid. We've got Havertz agreeing personal terms today. Arsenal looking to bid around £60 million. It's a lot of outgoings, decent money for some of them. I think we need a lot more money for sure. But it's going to be a very interesting window, in my opinion. A lot of players actually leaving. And I've always wanted this rebuild, by the way. I didn't expect Havertz and Mount, though. I'm not going to lie to you, together. I didn't think that would happen. But it hasn't happened, of course, but it looks like it will happen. These two guys. I expected Mount and Gallagher, or Havertz and Gallagher, or one of the two, basically. I didn't expect all three to be linked, like definitely leaving Chelsea. And that's why I'm even talking about we're going to do a U-turn on Felix, for example, on a loan. I just see something like this happening. Deadline day, panic buy, whatever you guys want to call it. Something like this will happen. Mark my words. What day is it today? 14th. We'll look back at this one. The day that I only do one video with Manhandled because he's too busy for me. So
it's the 15th, first of all. So you got that
15th. 15th.
But yeah, I mean, how often have we seen players, in a swap deal? I mean, I can think of one high-profile one in the last.
They won't do it like that. They will talk like a swap deal, but on the books they'll do it as a separate deal.
Gallagher going to Brighton, I'm not so sure. I think he's got better offers
That's
out
his
there.
level.
Maybe he's a player that Pochettino. I think he's potentially one that he'd want to have a look at Pochettino. But again, I'm not going to be too concerned if Gallagher does.
You're joking, right?
I mean, we don't know. As I've said before,
you're joking, right?
We don't know if Pochettino wants
Gallagher.
a certain formation. We don't know if he wants certain players. There's even talk of Andre Santos coming.
I'm telling you, this guy's been talking on streams in the past about, he doesn't really care about Mason Mount if he signs a new deal, if he doesn't sign a new deal. This guy off the screen, you heard it about Gallagher. Can you imagine what he thinks about Mount deep down?
What I think about Mount deep down is that he's a player that we should be selling if he doesn't sign a new deal, and he will be sold. He will be sold. He's not good enough for Chelsea in his last 18 months of form, and that's what we have to judge him on. The sad reality is the people that want him at the club are rating him because of his love, supposedly, for Chelsea, and also the form he showed 18 months prior, not in the last 18 months, because this has not been good enough. But £40 million, like you say, we're getting lowballed by all these teams because they know we're desperate to sell. And other teams know that we're desperate to buy, which is why, Brighton and teams like that will hold out for money. But yeah, Gallagher, as I said, he can leave. As much as I mess around about, Pochettino wanting to have a look at him, he's a player that hasn't got the quality for Chelsea. We need to get Chelsea-level players in, and, Caicedo would be one of them.
Well, at the moment, players were letting go, players that were looking to bring in, sponsorships that we're looking to bring in. It's not looking too positive at the moment, but things can change for sure. There's a goalkeeper situation. Onana, what's my name? They want about 80 million euros. What do you make of that goalkeeper?
I enjoyed watching him in the Champions League final. I thought he was a blend of keeper that would do well for us. I've been told his shot stopping isn't as good as it could be, but from what I saw in the Champions League, You know, he could distribute the ball, which is, I would imagine, what Pochettino would want us to play, and obviously how Chelsea have played in the past, about playing from the back. We've got players at the back, the defenders, the wing backs that like to get on the ball. So I think Onana would be good in that stage in progression. He's good enough for me, in my opinion. I'm still surprised how easily Inter Milan got him after that Jugs ban. And, you know, they're now wanting to sell him for 80 million when they want Lukaku for nothing. Again, it's just clubs taking the mick, really. And we're allowing these teams to be doing that to us because of the way we've negotiated different parts. Some of it is Roman errors. Some of it is Bowley errors. And I think there's a lot of Bowley errors and the rest of the team that so far have been done. But interesting to see that stat. Martinez, not so good with his feet. Raya, Sanchez, much better. So it all depends on what kind of keeper Pochettino wants. If he wants to play out from the back, if he wants a keeper to be like an Edison and Alisson kind of one, or if he just wants a shot stopper, depends what he wants. I think an Onana, Raya, Sanchez would do well because they can do all the parts of a modern keeper and also the shot stopping, which Kepa from long range can't do. And Mendy, who seems to want to drop a lot of crosses and has had an awful bane of form. So a new keeper's needed, definitely. And Onana fits the bill.
I was cool with David Raya initially, and then I saw some disgusting stats for him. And he just screams Kepa. He screams Kepa, literally. And that's why Tottenham are linked with him. Lloris looks like he's done. I mean, it's about time he leaves for Tottenham. He's been shocking. I don't know how my brother, how much he chats rubbish about Tottenham players, how good they are. He used to overrate Lloris as one of the highest. I think you actually rated Lloris as all, no? Jokes aside.
Never rated Lloris.
Oh, okay, maybe it's someone else. Apologies.
I mean, he's up there with. I'm not saying David De Gea is as bad as Lloris, but both of those keepers shouldn't be in their clubs. They should both be leaving. And players like Raya, Sanchez, even Martinez to an extent, need to be going to those bigger clubs. But Havertz, I mean, you touched on it earlier. Havertz, player that I advocated for in front of Sancho when we signed him. Everyone was twerking for Sancho. I was saying Havertz is the man. He showed in glimpses the form that he can, or the quality that he can show. But as you said rightly on the phone earlier to me, he does suit Arsenal's style of play, and I completely agree with that. He doesn't really fit in our team. In their team, he can float in from the wings. He could probably play behind Jesus, interchange with the position.
But it's the quick play. I think the quick play will suit him.
Would definitely help him. Yeah, and as much as I like
we don't play like that. We can't even string 3 passes together. So the way Arsenal move the ball very fluidly and left, right, quickly, I think it kind of screams like a little Ozil, in my opinion.
I don't quite know the player that Havertz is. That's the problem. When we signed him, I wanted him to be in a free role. We haven't really given him that. We've put him up top, and he cannot play up top in 90% of games. So yeah, it's part of the way we use him, and we've seen this with other players. Chelsea don't utilize players in their best position, means we don't get the best out of them. Players like Salah, De Bruyne are different. When people compare Havertz to them, they didn't play much for us. They didn't show the level of quality that Havertz had done so early in his career at Leverkusen. So it will be a blow. And we are selling to rivals if we sell Mount, if we sell Havertz to Arsenal and Man United, who are both clearly ahead of us in terms of squad building and in league position. Be disappointing, but to get, let's say, 50, 60 million for a player, if we then go and spend that on Caicedo, which we clearly need as well, will it be too much of a miss? I'm not sure, because we're basing this all on potential. A lot of the players we bought as a new ownership has been based on potential, and that's all Havertz is. He's all potential. He hasn't shown it consistently enough yet, so we can't be too upset.
There we are, folks. Quick fire video. First time manhandled on the channel. I think this is our first
on
video.
The camera.
No, but our first video though, like one-on-one. I don't think we've done one.
It goes quickly when you've got a good guest, doesn't it, Sadiq?
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. I think we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. You're not at the moment one of the special ones from the bottle, but maybe one day. And I'll show you on Friday how to play football as well. But yeah, guys, until then, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you don't want to see this guy a lot more, comment down below, man. Peace.